Welcome to the fourth episode of A Tribe Called Health. The Tribe convenes weekly to discuss all things health and fitness. We're about to get started, but first, a disclaimer. The information on this broadcast should not be construed as medical or legal advice. If you need medical or legal advice, talk to a doctor or a lawyer. If you are a doctor or a lawyer and need health or fitness advice, get in the tribe. On today's show, we're going to interrogate John about what he learned at PaleoFX. We're also going to be joined tonight by April LeMaster from... yeah, I'm leaving this in because I wrote butter, peas, and paleo. which is still a pretty good name. April LeMaster from Butterflies, Peas, and Paleo. Hey, welcome to another episode of A Tribe Called Health. My name is Joe Rignola from WellnessPunks.com, and I'm joined, as always, by Eric Hulse and John Randall. What's up, boys?
What's going on?
So, John, Eric, introduce our guest.
All right, well, today we've got April LeMaster with us from Butterflies, Peas, and Paleo. And, you know, I've been following her blog since she started it, about as long as she's been following ours, Sex Food and Kettlebells. And, yeah, we were both at PaleoFX together, so we made a point to meet up. And we actually ended up spending a lot of time together doing a lot of cool stuff. So, April, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Thanks for having me on. My name's April, and my blog is Butterflies, Peas, Paleo. I've been paleo for about a year now, a year in May. I'm a sugar addict, which is why I started paleo. I would have, do y'all want my whole story?
Yeah,
Bring
give
it on,
us
girl.
the Cliff Notes or however you want to
cut you off.
I want to do my whole
Yeah.
life, 'cause whatever. But, so I've always worked out. That's never been an issue. I've always been involved in sports. I've been training in Taekwondo for the past 12 years, so
Nice.
working out has always been, I love it. Food has always been an issue, especially sugar. I love sugar, and there were some days when all I would eat would be like a pound of peanut M&Ms, some ice cream drumsticks, and that's all I would eat all day, every day. And didn't really work out. I felt horrible. I looked bloated and nasty, and so I was just Googling. I happened to find Diane Sanfilippo's 21-day sugar detox plan. So I started it last May 1st. I actually did it for 90 days, and I felt so awesome and wonderful that I could not believe that that was the secret to get rid of grains and sugar, you know. And so I was so excited. I was telling everyone, and no one really wanted to listen to it. So I decided to start my own blog, my own Facebook page, and it's kind of taken off, and it's awesome. So
Very cool. Well done, John.
April, when you said that people didn't really want to listen to you, what was that all about? Like, what kind of resistance did you get?
well, I think a lot of it was me. Like I was like on top of the world. I felt so good for the first time. I was happy, which, you know, it's hard to explain that I didn't really think I was that sad, but once I went through the detox, I realized, you know, how happy I was, how much energy I had, how, I know, life was beautiful again. And I think I went overboard maybe a little bit, trying to, you know, convert people. I think that's, I took pictures of every meal and posted on my Facebook page and my personal Facebook page. I still do that, but I think a lot of people are like, what, she needs to calm down or something. I don't know. But so that's why I started my Butterflies, Peas, Paleo Facebook page, to kind of, so I won't overburden people who don't really want to hear about it. But I still talk about it, but I guess I'm not as, I was trying to beat people over the head with it.
Yeah, totally. It's interesting. When we had Jen on the last episode, it seemed like a similar theme that people just don't want to hear it because they like. I think most people just like eating their Twinkies and Ho-Hos. But we are here to talk about Paleo FX. So, John, you drove down from basically Toronto, right?
Yeah, that's right. I drove down with a team of 4. We had a girl come from all the way from Muskoka, which is 2 hours north of where I am, so she had the longest trip.
Wow.
And
You
I
smuggled back some stuff, didn't you?
yeah,
Can we talk about that?
yeah, I think so. We all smuggled back in probably about 100 pounds of Kerrygold grass-fed butter because we just don't get that in Canada. I don't know why. And we also ordered about 20 pounds of the upgraded coffee by the Bulletproof Executive, purely because the shipping to Canada is more money than the coffee is.
Wow.
So that worked well too.
So how long of a drive was it?
So yeah, it was about a 25-hour drive.
Wow. So did you guys get like sick of each other and have fights or throw food at each other in the car?
No, we were pretty good. I was with interesting company, and several of us hadn't met certain people before, so there was a lot to talk about, and we ate all kinds of awesome food actually, like bacon wrapped dates and
Nice.
Flourless cookies, and probably way too much sugar for just sitting on our asses in a car, but it keeps you entertained, right, during all
That's
that
cool.
time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
April, you're in Texas already?
Yes, I live in Houston.
Oh, okay.
It was a very short drive for me.
Cool. So no problems with that commute.
Nope.
No road rage.
Was
or
it your
anything?
first year?
This is my first year, yes. I knew of it last year, but I wasn't really paleo, so I didn't feel like I belonged, even though now I know it's for anybody, but yeah. So this was my first year, and it was awesome. Awesome.
Great. Yeah. Actually, it's funny you say that. Well, I was going to say it's funny you say that because I think that was sort of a general topic that was going around a bit this year at PaleoFX was I don't want to say like about like anti-elitism, but it was kind of like as someone discussed it in the car on the way home, they basically someone referred to it as the circle jerk is over.
Did it seem that way? Was it very cliquey and like did it seem like you weren't?
It's like people like Rob Wolf and others were kind of talking about just really how to make this more accessible for people, how we're here to discuss, the future of the paleo movement, what's going on right now, but also I feel like the whole end of the experience really left you with more questions than just answers, about, and so I think that was interesting. It was trying to be very inviting. There were a lot of people there I saw some pretty sick people, some people who were new and didn't know too much about it. So this was a great spot for them to come and start learning a whole bunch all at once.
Right.
Do you feel like it was easily, like the information was easily accessible to like newbies?
I think for the most part, a lot of it was. We did get some of the people I consider really smart, like Nora Gagatis and Paula Jaminet, and their stuff can be pretty scientific, which is good because we want to, a lot of people want to do science. But I think in general, yes. But I don't know. What do you think, April?
I think there were quite a few sessions for people that were newer and just starting out that weren't as scientific, that maybe they wouldn't be, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? But I think there were a few that were pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
Was there I want to ask some more like social questions. Was there anyone there that you met that was like a total starstruck, like any Justin Bieber moments that you guys just giggled like 12-year-old girls when you met?
Well, okay, so for me, I think I probably came across as a stalker because I listen to all these people's podcasts. I've read all their books. I follow them on Facebook. So I feel like I know them. But they don't know me. Mm-hmm. But I kind of forgot that part. So I, it was really funny, but I went up to every single person I saw and got my picture taken with them and told them how much I loved them and loved their blog and all that stuff. So I think I scared a few of them, but you know, I mean, hey, they're like my paleo celebrities. So I actually spent a lot more time socializing than I did in sessions.
Yeah, yeah, we all did. I think for me, honestly, yeah, I wouldn't say there was a huge starstruck moment. Especially like a lot of people I had met before, or a lot of people I really communicated a lot with, over the net. So we just kind of expected to meet each other. But I think just in general, a moment that was maybe a little powerful for me was meeting Terry Walls. For those who don't know Terry Walls, she has a book called Minding My Mitochondria, and she suffers from MS, and she got herself all the way out from in a wheelchair in a very advanced stage to fully presenting at PaleoFX, walking around, healthy, purely through diet. And I've got some clients with MS. I've got some people who I know who are dealing with issues like that. And I feel like it was great. I went up to talk to her after I asked her some specific questions, and she was really, really attentive and gave me really thorough answers. And yeah, just to know that, to see the people who I work with, and then see where she's become, that was good. That was, sort of wow moment for me.
This is a question for both of you guys. Like, what is the one thing that you think you took away from the whole experience, whether it be from a session or hanging out or whatever it may be? What is like the number one thing you took away? April?
Oh, that's hard. I would say the number one thing for me was that I have friends all over the world now. And, it's like I've talked to these people like John and my friend Crystal from Cave Mama's Quest. We've kind of communicated on Facebook, but when we met in person, it was like instant connection. We've been friends forever. And it was so awesome to have all those people together that kind of have the same ideas of things. And I think that's more of community for me because I don't have that a lot right now where I am.
Cool.
Was there anyone who? Go ahead, John. You have something else to add to that?
No, go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask if there was any surprises. Like, did anyone surprise you? Well, two-part question. Did you meet anyone that sort of surprised you? You thought they were going to be different than they were in real life, and the next part of that is, was there any part of any talk that surprised you, something that you learned that you were just blown away by?
I want to instantly go ahead and say, I know that I'm pretty tall at like 6'3" and a bit, but for whatever reason, pretty much everybody was shorter than I expected them to be.
Wow.
I think the only people who weren't were maybe Daryl Edwards, who's like one of the tallest dudes I know. But I don't know why. It was like miniature paleo fest over there.
Wow.
Even people, everybody's in great shape. Everybody looks good. Everybody's friendly. But I was like, damn, people are bumping into me, like my. But yeah, what was the second part? Something that surprised me.
Yeah, like so did you get any surprises? Like anyone's attitude surprise you? Was somebody more humble than you expected them to be, or was somebody kind of a douchebag?
What he's really trying to say is, was there somebody that was bitchy?
Yeah, or was there someone that was sort of a douchebag that you were disappointed by?
There you go. That's
I don't know. April, what was your experience?
Well, for me, I didn't really run into anyone that was rude or anything like that. I think the person that surprised me the most was James Gregory from Fast Paleo. So I was talking to him, and he's such a laid-back, serene guy, and I was trying not to take up all his time, and I said, I don't want to take up your time. And he said, no, that is why I'm here. So that really made me feel like, he's very open to talk to people and maybe people that are newer. So that really was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's been through some stuff. I just downloaded his book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to second that by saying, yeah, James was awesome. I really enjoyed meeting James. We got to hang out a lot. We took several of the fitness workshops together, and we hung out outside and talked. And he was really cool. And that's about what I expected from him. But it was good to see, him follow through with that. It was a cool guy to hang out with. Yeah.
His blog was one of the first blogs that I actually followed. It was him and Mark Sesson's blog.
Yeah, they do a lot for the community over at Fast Paleo, so I totally dig them a lot. They are big supporters of people who are coming up in the community, bloggers and so forth. So I totally dig those both of them, James and Oot.
I'd like to go back to sort of answer the question about did anything from a presentation.
Yeah.
And I don't know if surprise is the right word, but I think what I really enjoyed hearing about it was the opening presentation. They had Nora Gigadis present, and she was talking about adrenal fatigue. And a point that I think was really great that she touched upon, actually she really wanted to stress it, was that when it came to adrenal fatigue, it's not that you have an issue in the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are just perfectly responding to the information that your brain and your nervous system are giving them. So when you're in circumstances that cause fatigue, right? Moments of stress, lack of sleep, whatever. There's tons of them. Your body's receiving certain information, and your adrenals are just factories that just make hormones based on what your body tells them. So it was really interesting because she was sort of breaking away from talking about loading up on supplementation or protocols or cleanses that are designed to target your kidney, and it was more about target the lifestyle problems that are causing your body to want to do this. And I thought that was important because that just kind of digs further into finding the source of a problem, not treating symptoms of it. And that applies, I'm sure, to a lot of problems, not just adrenal fatigue. Just like how it does with a lot of things we look at with Z Health when it comes to fitness. It's all about how your body is responding to what your nervous system is telling it. So that was just something I thought was really cool. I think a lot of people needed to hear that.
Was there something in that discussion that you're like, oh, I need to apply that to my life right now? Like, was there something that you weren't doing that you're like, oh crap, I got to do this? This talk really inspired me.
I don't know, April. What do you think?
I think a lot of talk about stress and just trying to lower your stress, which you hear a lot, and inflammation. So I think for me, sometimes you forget. You get like coming back from Paleo FX. I hit the ground running with my family, my kids, back to normal, and you forget about the stress part. So I think that's really important to relax and take time for yourself.
Cool. Yeah. I think for me personally, I guess there's always something. I can already tell you one of the things that I struggle with most is just not sleeping enough. And I can tell you that it's funny, you go to a health conference, but I'm pretty sure I got less sleep in that entire weekend than I ever get, and that's something I need to work on in general. But yeah, just getting the sleep is something I know I could do, and that was just emphasized a little there as well. Yeah.
And sugar, which I had a lot of sugar, not real sugar, but honey and maple syrup.
That's sugar.
I know. Well,
Yeah,
paleo treats.
Mm-hmm.
I ate a lot of those.
There was tequila sugar and wine sugar.
Kombucha.
Yeah. Did any of the talks, speaking of sugar, did any of the talks sort of go off the rails a little bit and maybe stray a little bit from sort of the Paleoite religious aspect? Did anyone say, hey, wait a minute, maybe carbs aren't so bad? Was there anything like that? Any surprises from that aspect?
I think in general, most people are shooting down the real low carb theory.
Cool.
Um, obviously, and you know what? The people who did, they said that they do fully understand that for some people, like low carb is either what they need or works really well for them.
Hmm.
But that as a majority, as like a majority of people, when you go to approach them about this diet, that in general they don't need low carb. Low carb is not the best option. I felt like that was a common trend. And another thing that I thought was pretty common was the general acceptance of dairy, right? Because the paleo diet initially it's no grains, no dairy, no legumes, and this is called paleo effects, but it seemed to be automatically assumed by everybody that a lot of people consume various forms of dairy, whether it's butter or cream or different things, and yeah, that was just something that was very, very uh, apparent there. So that was interesting. And I know that we consume various forms of dairy too. So it was pretty. That seemed to be becoming pretty normal.
I saw John drinking whipping cream from the carton.
Yeah.
Always done.
Word up.
Yeah, yeah. Seems like there's been a bit of an evolution inside the paleosphere.
Which is what's great about it, and that was a presentation I really enjoyed. Was it was a panel of people, and it had Rod Wolf, it had Lane Sebring, which was an interesting guy. I had never seen him speak before. He's got a clinic in Texas who's been apparently operating as like a paleo clinic for almost 20 years. And it had some others. It had a guy named Hamilton Stapel, who I'd never heard of, and he looks into the history side of evolution and paleo. And anyways, the whole panel was really about when paleo diet got started in terms of like the mainstream, and how it started, and then where it's kind of going, what we should be working on to help expand the word, what we think the whole paleo lifestyle is becoming. And that was one of those ones that ended up with like a lot of questions at the end more than answers, right? To get you thinking. Yeah.
So where do you think it's going then, John, with all that information that you got?
Well, it was important. There was a good emphasis again on keeping an open mind and letting everybody admit and understand that we don't know everything about everything, and that when all we know is the best of what we know at this time. So it was just to acknowledge that we can do the best we can with the current research, with the current information, but be open to the fact that something can poke a hole in a theory and change it for the better, and that we should look at that and let that happen and embrace that change. And that again, that was a constant thing that was going on. It was very about anti-dogmatic, being aware of what changes might affect what, and if it's a good change, go with it.
April, you've been paleo for about a year, you said?
Yes.
And has that evolved for you? Did you start out low carb, and did you change that around? And did anything at Paleo Effects sort of change your mind as far as how you approach your personal paleo diet?
Actually, when I first started, I did a lot of paleo treats because there's a lot of treat books out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to get my kids to eat it too. So we had a lot of paleo treats, probably a lot of fruit. And then when I was listening to a podcast, I heard Sarah Fragoso said that paleo treats should be treats, not an everyday occurrence. So I cut all that out. As far as learning anything about food, I'm trying to think. Really, I heard several people talk about the top 5 foods. Grass-fed organ meats, bone broth, fermented foods, that kind of stuff. I'm kind of doing all that. I'm pretty good about. I love making my own bone broth and kombucha and all that stuff. So I think I'm pretty much doing a lot of it. But I don't. I probably do low carb more than most people. I kind of play around with that a little bit because I'm not exactly where I want to be yet. So I kind of play around with that. So I don't know.
Do you have a favorite like go-to meal?
My favorite go-to meal. Well, I love steak. I have a great farmer here, so I get all my meat from him and eggs. Um, I love steak. I love peppers and onions and Brussels sprouts, which I've never eaten until I turned paleo.
Can you get your kids to eat those?
No.
Throw some bacon bits on it.
I cook them with bacon grease, and they're delicious. I can't get enough of them, and nobody else will eat them. But I love mashed cauliflower, cauliflower rice. I just go to the farmer's market every Saturday, and whatever vegetables they have is the vegetables that we eat for the week. And so I'm really lucky where we live. We have year-round farmer's market. I have a great farmer, so it's a good place to live down here.
Was that something they emphasized at all at Paleo FX about being local and supporting your local farmers? Was there any sessions on that? Was anybody talking about that?
Actually, a point I don't remember who made it. This point that I'm thinking of, it was in one of the panels, but there was someone really strongly, reinforcing eating seasonal, but more importantly, well, as importantly, local. And they were talking about how when everybody buys into the same market, the same provider or the same product, and it becomes so huge and it provides food to everybody, that if that particular system fails, either if something happens to it and it can't provide, or if it literally just fails us and it starts providing crap, right? That's that affects so many people, and that's a lot harder to recover from than if we each supported all the little different businesses and different farms and different providers in tons of different areas. Then if something is affected or something isn't going right, there's still thousands of others to choose from. So it was sort of kind of like the anti-Walmart movement. You don't want to buy into one thing and have them own everything, right? So
True. Did they offer
supported?
Did they offer resources to help people do that?
Not exactly. No, I'll be honest, not exactly. Not that I can recall. In fact, I think a lot of what I remember talking about in the car on the way home with Glenn, one of the guys we were with, is that a lot of the times a presenter, will tell you eat organ meats or eat bone broth or, find a farm to eat sustainable. But he was maybe saying we should have some presentations where they showed you how to cook up organ meats or possibly how to cook them out of the animal. Explain how to make bone broth. Talk about the various systems where you can find a sustainable farm. I would say that those were probably not addressed. Yeah.
So oh, go ahead, April.
No, I was going to say Austin as a town is way ahead of most places. Like a lot of the restaurants we went to had on the wall the farm where the meat came from. And so they do a lot of local meats at different, like Holy Cow Burger is grass-fed local meat. They sell local peaches there in season. We went to an ice cream place called Lit that has, and the ice cream is from local grass-fed cows and as much local ingredients as they can get, and it was awesome. So Austin,
and they showed you all the ingredients that was in each flavor, and which was good. There's no surprises,
Nice. Is raw milk legal down there?
Yes. Well, you cannot buy it at a store, but you can
buy
get
from the farm.
farmer.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. Yeah. But there's a lot of weird stuff that is legal.
Like guns.
Yeah, and I just
dogs.
Yeah. What freaked me out was you're allowed to bring your dog in the bar or the restaurant.
That's only an
totally dig that.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool, but it was so weird. It kept freaking me out. Seeing all these dogs walking around everywhere, and apparently places in Austin, if they don't have a liquor license, then it's BYOB. You can bring your own booze in.
Word?
Yeah. And Yeah, and it was all kinds of trippy stuff going on. You know, April, what was the name of that district you took me to where all the houses had been turned into
That was
bars?
that was Rainy Street. It's a historic street with a bunch of historic houses, and it's just like one big block party at night. It's every house is a different bar, and so it's just people out in the streets hula hooping, ping pong, whatever. It's just anything goes in Austin, honestly.
Wow, cool.
So that's why they hold it there, huh?
Yes,
Oh, all right.
and the
They
weather was perfect.
they say it's the grass-fed beef, but apparently it's the bar district.
Well, we did. There was a few wild nights at Paleo Effect. There.
Did anyone in the paleosphere, like someone well known, did somebody cut loose and get completely wasted and make a fool of themselves?
Uh,
Go ahead,
I'm
John.
not. I'm actually not gonna say any names.
Okay, at least tell us what they did.
No.
Did anybody
Oh, come on!
did anybody like go streaking or anything like that?
Give us something.
Not that I saw.
Oh, all right.
But, there might have been like a couple people who maybe got a little into it. I mean, everybody got a little bit into it, but yeah, there was just funny. It was fun.
So, John, when you say into it,
but what was cool?
What exactly are you
what do
getting,
you exactly?
or what exactly are you putting into what?
Hopefully not what you're thinking there. But I think that especially at a conference like this, I think that because you get this particular crowd of people who is really health conscious and does not, I would say, does not. I know just at least from my personal experience, doesn't party a lot. My health comes first, my clients come first, and my diet comes first, and I don't have as many friends around that live around me that are the same way, right? And so we hold that out, and I think that when you get to this place and we're all together and we've got the time off work, and it's all of a sudden you're with the people who you want to party with, and it's like it's once a year. It's not once a night, once a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that in general, it was a very, very loose environment. People wanted to have fun, but at the same time, it was there was good, clean, fun aspect to it. It was great networking. It was great having conversations with people who you might otherwise never have been able to get a hold of. And the next day, when you're at the conference, it was still very professional but very fun. You still showed up. You went to the workshops. You learned lots of stuff. You respected the presenters, maybe even if you saw them shoot a shot of tequila the night before. And it was really cool that way. Probably another reason why they hold it in Austin. I don't know. It was a very relaxed, and approachable environment. And I think that was a lot of fun.
Besides the part that you spoke about perhaps live demonstrations, and I guess both you guys can answer this. What was something that you felt was maybe missing from the conference?
You want to answer that first, April?
Go ahead. I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll tell you, it had a lot of great stuff. It had some fun cooking demos from everybody's favorite bloggers. I sat front row in front of George Bryant from Civilized Caveman and Julie from Paleo Oh My God, and I sat right next to Nom Nom Paleo, and it was good, and there was some awesome fitness workshops. Erwan came down to demonstrate some MoveNat, and Daryl Edwards with his Primality, and tons of fun stuff, lots of hands-on. But in general, something that might have been missing. I don't know if this is a certain type of presentation, but just coming from a Canadian perspective, I think that there are a lot of sources, especially if you look at the Native American aspect of Canada or even America, there's a lot of speakers or a lot of resources where you could actually bring real life hunter-gatherers onto the stage. You know, you could get people who still eat and live in the wild, or you can get people who really know the background of how our ancestors ate. And I feel like although we have plenty of doctors and nutritionists and bloggers, I think it would be cool to see some really authentic, you know, ancient wisdom speaking people up there, which do exist and are around. That's just something that I think could definitely be implemented into a future symposium like this. I think it should be.
Cool.
Yeah.
April?
April?
What do you think?
I actually agree with John because I did get the opportunity to talk to his friend Mitch about the same things. It would be neat to see the people that actually did the hunter and gathering and how they lived and, you know, actually talk to them. I think that would be a great idea also.
Yeah, and Mitch Baird was one of the guys who came down for me. He's the head of the Southern Ontario Diabetes Initiative. He's native, and yeah, he's going to try to implement that. You know, maybe into a future project we run here, or maybe into Paleo Effects. But he made some really good points, and it would be nice to see something like that. And I think a lot of people would like to learn more about it firsthand. You know.
John, I have a question.
Yeah.
If you were invited to speak there in the future sometime, what do you think you would present?
That's interesting. I would probably be presenting on a topic based on projects that I haven't finished completing yet. No, there's things that I'm working on in terms of movement in the fitness industry and things beyond that, that I'm still kind of building here for myself, and I haven't really made too public. So I actually can't comment on that right now.
Oh boy.
It would be like a fitness thing then.
It would be more like a whole health thing. Yeah, that's a tricky one.
I don't want to let the cat out the bag. We get it.
Yep. It's all good.
But why? What would you present, Eric? Right?
I don't like that the table has been turned. Hold on. Just hold on a second. I don't know. I liked where it was going when you mentioned before about really diving into adrenal fatigue and things like that. I would go somewhere into that aspect, like digestive health, or really learning how to properly detoxify your body through real foods and through rest and through stress management. It would be something along those lines.
What about you, Joe?
You know, I like the what you were saying with the direction of how the movement seems to be evolving, where it's not so dogmatic, and I think it still is in a lot of areas. But I think I would sort of approach it from more of a mindset, and keeping an open mind, and listening to your body and realizing when things are not working as well as they were, and that things may need to change. Whether that means, you know, you've been too low carb for too long, or too high carb for too long, and you need to change it up, and not be afraid to include some foods that you thought were healthy. So I think that's probably the direction I would take. I would take a talk.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
Okay.
so was there? Go. Oh yeah, please.
So for me, at Paleo FX, I noticed a lot of the people that were there were younger, 20s, 30s, and I'm about to turn 47. So I think there's this place for women maybe that are older, 40, 50, 60s, that don't know much about paleo, or maybe intimidated, because it does seem to be a lot of younger people, CrossFitters that are in really good shape. You know, maybe intimidate the older woman, not older, but you know what I mean. So I would love to, you know, talk about that. And also, I'm really into making my own products. I think that's, you know, there's a lot of great products out there that you can buy that are paleofied or whatever, but it's so easy to make your own deodorant, your own toothpaste, your own body scrub, and all that stuff. So I think that would be kind of cool to have a session just on how to make a bunch of stuff that could save you a lot of money too.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Was there any presentation there where you just kind of called bullshit on at all? Was it something that you heard that were like, oh, come on? You guys are laughing, so maybe there's got to be something.
There is one that I walked out on, but just because, I don't know, it seemed kind of boring to me. But I don't know. Other people seem to like it. I don't know that I want to say it was.
I'd say you don't have to. What was the subject matter?
It just wasn't my style.
So the presenter wasn't really engaging you.
Right.
But were they talking about something that could have been an engaging topic?
Maybe. I think it was one of those that I was just like, I'm just going to go see what this is about.
Okay.
And maybe it was over my head, but it just seemed very dry to me, so it wasn't interesting.
All right.
April, what was your favorite presentation? You know, or your favorite workshop, your favorite presentation? What did you enjoy the most?
As far as speakers, or as far as like my favorite thing that I did was the primal play. I mean, that was. I'm glad you dragged me to it because it was awesome with Daryl Edwards. That was so much fun, and it was hard. I was sore, but it was a blast, and it kind of reminded me to get out and play more. I mean, that was my favorite thing that I did the whole weekend.
Did you end up going to his presentation later in the day?
I didn't. I don't know how I missed it. I missed a lot of stuff that I look back now. I'm like, I should have gone to that, but I was.
He brought me up on stage and he tore me apart.
Oh no, did he?
Because and he'll tell you the story. I know he will because he told it like 4 times. But at the dinner on Thursday night at Green Pastures, which was awesome by the way. We ended up I challenged him to an arm wrestle because he's a big dude. Biggest dude.
He did it during our group.
Yeah, he did it again later on stage, yeah. And I took him down like 3 times. It was good. He was certain that he was going to take it, but I was certain that he was not. And it was good. But then he was like, okay, well, can you come up, can you try taking that strength and applying it to a different plane? So instead of being, on a table arm wrestling, he had to stand up. We had to stand on one leg, and we had to try to arm wrestle each other. And he was just smoking me. I just could not get around him, like a weakling. The dude was crushing me. So he actually asked me if he could use that in a presentation later. And he ended up bringing me on. It was a lot of fun, actually. He brought me on stage, and I was there for a good half his presentation, just demoing exercises with him. But half of them were all about how strong this training can get you. So it was all like, hey John, try this, and then like he would just like squish me. So
that's cool. That sounds like all kinds of fun.
Yeah, he's got a good thing going, and you know what? His presentation. What I actually want to say is not only was his movement workshop a blast, but his presentation was far from boring. He had everybody stand up. He had everybody just move the chairs and try stuff out. He was inspiring. So yeah, man, big shout out to Daryl Edwards. He gets my vote.
Nice.
Cool. I had a question. Eric, what do you got? Well, I'm trying to remember what the hell I was going to ask.
Oh yeah. April, if we could go back to you for a second. You mentioned earlier when you were introducing yourself that you met some resistance in the beginning. Have you successfully gotten people on board and have their lives being changed a little bit because of the information that you've been putting out there?
Well, I do have a few friends that are following the paleo lifestyle, and one I brought with me to Paleo FX, and she was just taking notes like crazy. She was like a sponge absorbing everything. So that was really good. I mean, I'm trying to do more of, instead of head banging to other people, do more by example, and that seems to be working a little bit better. But I have a few friends here local, and then my family that's in Dallas, my parents and my mother-in-law. I bought them some paleo books, Diane Sanfilippo's Practical Paleo for Christmas, and they're following it somewhat. They're losing weight. They're seeing results. So I think they're doing, baby steps to get where they need to be. But yeah, it's pretty cool when you see people that and start asking you questions. Hey, what about this? What about that? It's really fun to see other people following along and getting healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did anybody cover that? Was that a talk, that anyone covered as far as how to talk to other people about this, or how to introduce people to a paleo or primal diet?
There was there was at least one presentation on behavior change, on positive behavior change. I didn't actually sit through it because I realized, I don't know where, but I already had all the training before. The slides that they were bringing up were complete slides I've got in a book, and it all made sense. But I was like, oh, okay, well, I already know this. But yeah, I'm sure for a lot of people that was probably helpful, because as a health professional, I use those tactics already. So it would be good for the general population to learn how to use those too, so they can help the people they love.
I think something else. Go ahead, Joe.
No, go ahead, Eric.
I think something else that the general population can get a handle on is what?
Want to buy a vowel?
Population is that it's more. I think paleo is more than just eating like a caveman. It's so much more than that, and you guys have really brought that to light with all the things that you're talking about. You're talking about movement workshops. You're talking about mindset. You're talking about adrenal fatigue. There's so many other things than just eating steak and string beans for breakfast. You know what I mean? So I think that part of paleo, it's starting to come out, but I think it really needs to come out more, that it's more than just living like an ancestor. It's so much more. It's more of a community now. And it's awesome that it's evolving to incorporate so many other things.
Yeah, the conference as a whole was great, and while we're giving it credit, I would say that the volunteers and everyone there did a great job of organizing it and letting it run very smoothly, and that was great. And I think that with always, there's things that could use work, and that this movement is still growing. But I'm going back next year, and I would recommend that anyone who has enough interest, should definitely be there as well. Yeah.
It seemed overwhelming. I just want to ask one more point here. Just looking at the website, it seemed overwhelming with the amount of presenters that were there.
It's funny you say that, because there's kind of mixed reviews about that, because I really enjoyed that. Like when I was in the car and I was looking at the schedule and I was trying to plan who I was going to see and when and where, I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. I'm going from here to there. I can't catch this person, but that's okay because this one's even cooler, But then one of the things that they said at the end is that some people had complained that there was too much to do. And I personally think too much to do is one of the best complaints you can get,
Yeah.
Does it seem like they do that almost intentionally so they can sell a product at the end of this thing, like sell the recordings for it?
Here's the thing with the people that went to PaleoFX, we are getting like on-demand access to every single talk for free. So the ones that we missed, we're going to be able to go and watch them. I think it's just going to be like online for a limited amount of time, but still you're going to be able to go and watch every single one. So I think that's
cool
that they do that. So you don't really feel like you missed out.
And I think that for the people who weren't there, to purchase the product that has the tape of every single presenter is a great investment, because you'll catch just as much or more as we did. So I don't have any beef with that, really. It's helping to get more information out to more people, and and if someone's making a profit on it for bringing it all together, so be it.
Right on. Yeah. John or April, you have anything else you want to add to To your experience?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Okay,
John.
go for it.
There was an awesome, hilarious paleo comedian at the dinner we had Thursday night, and I think he's called the Healthy Comedian, and he's a comedian who eats paleo, and he likes to tell jokes about fitness and nutrition, and I don't know, that was awesome. He was gold, and I just think people should look into it, because if I could like have. I think it's the Healthy Comedian. I don't know. I'm sure if you search paleo comedians, you'll find them. Honestly, if I could just
How many paleo comedians could there be? Possibly be, right?
Yeah. If I could have a video of his presentation and just share it with my clients, it would be like a nice, easy way to like nurse them into a better lifestyle. It was good.
I'm gonna look that up.
Cool. Yeah. April, what else you want to add to that?
I just want to add that I thought Paleo FX was awesome, and I want to encourage people who, even if you're newer to paleo or have no clue what paleo is and someone drags you here, that it's an awesome learning experience. Don't be intimidated because you think it's only going to be fit. And there are a lot of fit people there, but there are a lot of other people there too. And so everyone starts somewhere. Just because you see a fit person doesn't mean they were always fit, which I did see the transformation panel, and that was awesome to hear people's stories, because sometimes you look at people and assume that they've always been that way. And so I just want to encourage everyone to go if they can, or buy the DVDs, and don't be intimidated by what they think that might be.
April, tell everyone where they can find you on the internets.
So on Facebook, I am Butterflies Peace Paleo. I'm about to redo my blog and start a Facebook page. A website. So just follow me on Facebook, and you'll get all the updates on what I'm doing.
How'd you come name? That's what I was going to ask.
Right on.
So the peace part, I'm very even keeled, peaceful. I don't like fighting or anything like that. So. And the butterflies.
Unless when you're convincing people to be paleo, then you're like beating them in the head, right?
Right. With a drumstick.
And butterflies, I think, everyone loves a butterfly, but I think it represents kind of a new beginning, because I think this for me has been,
nice.
A new journey. So that's kind of how it came about.
Love it.
Great. Okay, well, as always, you guys can find me on sexfoodandkettlebells.com. Or legendaryfitcanada.com, and yeah.
Barbara had teased us last week that she was going to post something about get off that bow suit. Is that up? Is that up yet?
You know what? She got a lot of stuff up while I was gone, but I think when I was gone, she went to cooking a lot more than to mental stimulation.
Okay. Cool. So
that one's still on the back burner.
We will check out Sex Food and Kettlebells for some new recipes.
She did put an awesome new ice cream cake log recipe up or something. It was. I had some of it today. It was hella good.
Nice. Eric, what's up with you on your site?
Well, you can find me at erichulst.com or Facebook, Eric Hulst Holistic Health and Lifestyle Coach. So you can look that up, and you can look me up on YouTube also. Just type in Eric Hulst to find me. That's it.
A video a day. That's pretty awesome. I tried last week.
My last one was how to make the perfect poop. You got to check that one out.
I just watched it. It was outstanding. Outstanding. That's an episode. That's going to be a topic coming up.
I'm telling you.
A full episode on poop. Yep.
We need to do a poop one. We need to do a sex and relationship one as well.
Definitely. So stay tuned, folks. Things are about to get real sexy and real shitty. What? Eric, I was inspired by you, so I made 4 videos in 4 days.
Okay.
So I did a Q&A one where I talked about weight loss, and that was a question I got from someone who plateaued with their weight loss efforts. And I started a series on glucose and thyroid and liver and cholesterol and all that stuff and how it's all connected. So that's what I've got going on. If you check out wellnesspunks.com and Wellness Punks on YouTube and Wellness Punks on Facebook. That's what's up.
Cool.
All right, boys, I think that's it. And April, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
April.
I hope we didn't totally crush your career by you coming on the show.
No, I don't have a career, so it's fine.
Neither do we. Awesome. All right. I guess we're out.
Yeah, catch us next time on A Tribe Called Health.